Latest track from the talented French producer Malaa, Who I Am, is here. Today I'm going to show you how to make the main synths and the main bass of this weird drop, and then you can use them in your own productions. Now let's get to the first section of this tutorial. It's really interesting. Malaa is just using one note throughout this drop. We are going to learn about the weird placement of these synths in the piano roll, interesting use of redux effect, and of course sound design and mixing of that synth. Let's take a listen to the solo of this synth sound first. It is really interesting, guys. In the piano roll, Malaa has put all the notes right here, as you can see on the 16th grid right here. All the notes are a little bit forward, and if I zoom in, you see on the 16th he has put these notes right here, and this has made a very interesting and weird effect and feeling to the sound. Let's take a listen with the metronome on. This is a very weird rhythm in my ears. And guys, when the grid is on 1/16, it is right here, and I felt it could be a little bit toward triple rhythms, but when I make the grid triple right here, again the note is playing sooner than the triple grid right here. So this is without triple, it is right here. With the triple, it is playing a little bit sooner than expected. This is a very interesting rhythm. Now let's get to the sound design of this beautiful synth. Here, guys, as most of my tutorials, again a very simple solver right here. Two voices of unison, and one of the most important part of this sound, and a lot of new sounds that we hear in EDM songs, is that all the sound designers and all the producers are playing with the fine tunes of the oscillators. Here I have put this on -21, and after sound designing in the frequency shifter right here, I have put the fine tune on 19 Hz right here to match the sound with the Malaa sound. And this sound is made just by one oscillator, and here in envelope, the envelope is like this right here, and I have put this envelope to modulate this cutoff right here. With MG low 12 right here, I have put the sound on mono, and here in envelope 2 right here, I have made this little shape right here to add some pitch movements to this sound. In the matrix section, envelope 2, very short amount of master tune modulation with envelope 2. Let me bypass this. A little bit more attack and a little bit more punch to my ears. And in the FX section, as always, a lot of distortion right here, and this distortion is doing a lot to this sound. Let me turn this off. The sound is completely changed, but when it is on, yes, that's what we want. And after that, OTT with the multiband on, and makeup gain is a lot right here, it's 16 dBs. And you can see without these two effects together, we have a very weak sound. But when these two are on, perfect. And after these two effects, I added another MG low 12 right here. I didn't use the cutoff, I just wanted to use a drive right here. This drive makes your sound very fat. You see, the difference is night and day when using this drive knob in Serum. And here, guys, in the mixing section, I have used the frequency shifter, as I mentioned, with the fine tune right here. These are very subtle differences to the sound to make it more interesting. Definitely with this frequency shifter on, we have a much more controlled tonic of the sound, and it is much more professional to my ears. After that, as always, I have used some kind of distortion, which in this case is overdrive of Ableton. This is making the sound a little bit more fat with 11% of wet amount. And here I have used RC20 color. I just wanted to use the wobble effect right here to make the sound a little bit more analog and less digital. You see right here. After that, as always, I wanted to saturate the high mids of the sound as always to make it more powerful. And here, this EQ is doing a lot to the sound. Let's turn this off. You see, this is making the sound very fresh and bold. This is a huge difference to the sound. After that, a little bit of reverb right here with 33 milliseconds of decay. This is very short reverb. After that, I added a little bit of body right here because of the EQ boost right here. This one and this one. The sound is very thin without this EQ. After that, this lovely plugin, Fresh Air as always, is adding a lot of shimmer and high air to the sound. Let's turn this off. Amazing. Next we have Transient Master, and I'm using this plugin almost in all of my remakes and all of my productions. And usually when I lower the sustain right here, the sounds becomes more punchy and more controlled. Let's turn this off. Oh my god. This is very bad, especially with the tail of the reverb that we have added to the sound. But when I turn this on, the sustain is lowered and the sound is much more punchy. Yes, that's what we want. Next, I added this EQ. This EQ is a dynamic one right here. And this is accentuating and emphasizing the fundamental of the synths that we are playing in the drop. Without the EQ, you see, it pops out more in the mix, especially when the other elements are playing. And next, I wanted to make the sound even more punchier, especially in the high end of the sound. So I added this automation to every note in the drop, as you can see right here. At the end of each note, you see, this is a very fast automation right here. It is getting the highs of the sound and it is making it more interesting and punchier again. Let's see. Now I turn this off. You have to pay close attention to the high end of the sound. Without this EQ, it is free and it is not sounding as powerful as we want. Let's take a listen again. But with this filter, this is what we want. And after that, I just simply have monoed the sound. And guys, the next interesting thing that Malaa has used in his new song is using the effect of Redux here. And I duplicate this channel. This is the same channel, but I wanted to process it separately with these two plugins. I added the Redux effect of Ableton right here. And guys, Redux effect usually makes the sound low quality. And this is an interesting effect that you can add to your sound. Let's take a listen to the solo of this sound right here. Without Redux and this EQ, it lacks high end, so I added some high end to the sound. Perfect. And when it is played with the other elements in the drop, it adds some kind of interesting variations to the drop because everything is playing the same note. So Malaa has used some Redux effect right here to make the drop more interesting. Perfect. If you have found this video useful so far, please consider liking, subscribing and hitting the notification bell, and this makes me so happy. Thank you, friends. Like the Nicky Romero tutorial, this bass line is gluing all the drop elements together. It's a classic sounding analog bass with repeating notes in every half of the bars. Let's take a listen to the solo of this beautiful bass sound. And guys, I want to turn this bass off and listen to the whole drop and see what the role of this bass is in this drop. Everything falls apart. But when I turn the bass on, it glues everything in the drop very nicely and very professionally. Usually, these repeating bass lines are found in tech house and bass house drops. Now without the bass. No. And guys, before going into sound design, let's take a look at the MIDI of this bass. This bass is repeating in every half of the bar and nothing else is changing in the bass and there is no variations. And here again, minimalism and simplicity make this sound great. And in the sound design, guys, I have used the 3 oscillators right here, but everything is very simple. The lowest octave is this saw right here. The octave above is this sine right here. And the highest octave is this sine again right here. The octave is 0 right here. This is -1, this is -2. And I have used the 3 octaves right here to make this bass sound. There's no unison right here and a little bit of bright white. This noise right here is making the sound more aggressive. Let's see. A very subtle difference. The envelope is like this, very short envelope. The mono is turned on as always. And then I have added this filter. There is no modulation right here. I just wanted to take out the highs out of this sound. With MG24 right here. And then in the FX section, I have added a lot of distortion again right here. OTT again. And guys, you are seeing this pattern in all of my tutorials and all of my sound designs. Usually, there's distortion, OTT, filter. And I have modulated the filter with this envelope right here, with the main envelope, with MG18 right here. A huge difference to the sound. And after that, very short reverb. Instead of Valhalla, I wanted to do this in Serum, just for fun. This is a very subtle difference. And here I took some bad resonances and bad frequencies out of the space. Guys, in the mixing of this bass, there's nothing special except for these 2 plugins. One is Submarine and one is R-Bass. Both of these plugins are from Waves Audio. I have explained this plugin in one of my videos that you can see that right here. But very shortly, this plugin generates sounds in the lower octaves of your main sound. This plugin generates sounds and frequencies on higher octaves of your main sound. I have put these 2 plugins on my bass sound. Let me turn these 2 off right here and see what's going on. The bass is much more powerful and the distortion and saturation is added, and of course the rumble that we are hearing in a lot of EDM music is added to this bass, and these 2 plugins are making the bass perfect. After that, just very simply, a little bit of boost right here on the fundamentals of my bass. Here, a little bit of EQing and nothing else, and the sound is mono. Thanks for watching, friends. If you have any questions about the tips that we talked about today, just ask me in the comments, and I love you so much. Bye.